Welcome back to the Kyle Olson Show. Joining me now is David Dudenhoefer, who is running against Rashida Tlaib in the 13th Congressional District in Michigan. So, David, you face an uphill battle, but what are you doing to convince Democrats in Detroit to vote for you?
I don't think I really have to convince them. I think Rashida Tlaib does that for me. Her views are extremely out of touch with the community, including her call for Chief Craig's resignation and defunding the police and taking the ability for law-abiding gun owners to not be able to defend themselves by disarming them. This is not what Detroiters want. It's reflected in the things that we're hearing when we're door knocking. People just do not want that kind of radicalism. They want safer streets. They want job opportunities. They want health care fixed. And they believe that Rashida is just out there representing herself.
So in addition to, what would you call that, security, I guess, what issues are you finding are resonating with those traditionally Democrat voters?
Yeah, right now, we've done a couple of polls just to, get a sense of that, but it really just confirmed what we knew already. They really do want their healthcare system fixed. They're tired of the Band-Aids. They're tired of it being used as, political talking points every 2 years by members of the political class. They want career paths, opportunities, whether that's, an easier pathway for higher education. Doesn't need to be necessarily college, but apprenticeship programs, some type of skills trades. They want long-term careers. They want safer streets, and they want to restore faith and family again. They're seeing what's going on across the country with the destruction of the two, the mother and the father at home. They want to, have that restored. They want, faith and family restored, as I said, and they're just not seeing that. And I believe that we have an opportunity based on not just, rallying the base, not just rallying the primary opposition to Ms. Tlaib, but there are approximately 525,000 registered voters in this district. Ms. Tlaib received about 165,000 votes 2 years ago. And the Republican, who's been a placeholder, for lack of a better expression, for the past 30 years, has typically received about 40 to 50,000. That leaves many, many votes on the table, at least 100 to 125,000 votes on the table of registered voters. We believe when you add all that up, that we've got a tremendous opportunity to shock the world this year, and that's what we intend to do in November.
Well, and it seems to me, in addition to those issues, that school choice is another one, because you have kids going to Detroit public schools or, various other school districts, either in your district or around the state and the country. And the Democrats, Rashida Tlaib, they're protecting, Joe Biden's another one, they're protecting the teachers' unions, they're protecting the status quo. Joe Biden has been very clear that he wants to eliminate charter schools. Just think about what that would do to families in Detroit and in your district. But it just seems to me that there are so many sort of traditionally Republican issues, Republican positions that are coming home to so many traditionally Democrat voters, that I think that there's candidates like you that, have a chance and can actually, convert a lot of those people. I think another one, of course, is defunding the police, which Rashida Tlaib and a lot of those other sort of progressive elites, they have no problem saying we need to defund the police. What are you hearing from constituents in your district about what defund the police would actually do to their community?
They're frightened of it. Yeah, they see the crime that's on the streets, and Chief Craig has done a fantastic job of bringing that down. He's implemented a program that's called the Neighborhood Patrol Officer Program, and since he's done that approximately 10 years ago, communities have gotten more in touch with their neighborhood patrol officers. I have the cell phone to mine. Our community has a meeting 4 times a year. They come, they attend, they tell us what's going on. People are connected with their law enforcement, and they fear that by defunding the police, that connection would be lost. And if it's lost, then we turn our safe streets into criminal empowerment zones. And that's not what they want. And so we're not only hearing that as we're talking to the constituents, but it's being reflected even in local media, just around the community, business section of town. People are just not wanting that. And so, really what they thought they were going to get with Rashida Tlaib, they feel like they've been sold a bill of goods. But they've just been looking for, an alternative voice that they can trust. And Republicans have just treated Wayne County like a doormat, for lack of a better expression, over the past 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're saying is we're here, we're established. We've established an office in the center of the district where people can come. That's the first time in 30 years a Republican has done that. We're knocking doors in all of the communities. We're engaged with everybody. We're making connections with the churches. We're doing the things that you have to do to win. And we're raising the money. We've got over 12 to 13,000 donors nationwide and in the district who are supporting us. And so all of that put together, we feel like we've got a tremendous opportunity to not just give them a better alternative, but to flip the script, to flip the narrative, and really empower people to do better in their lives by giving them more of their freedom back. That's what we're giving. That's what we're presenting.
Some real horror stories came out of Detroit during the primary absentee ballot counting process, where there were as many as 20,000 ballots not verified and just fed into the machines. What are you doing to ensure that there will be election integrity for your campaign in Detroit?
Yeah, so I'm also the 13th Congressional District Chair. I'm working closely with the state party as we are recruiting precinct workers as well as poll challengers. And then the state party is assembling a team of attorneys that are quite familiar with election law so that we have access as poll workers and as challengers. We have access to these attorneys where we can, report what we're seeing in real time. And so we feel that between all of that, and of course, we're sending an army of folks down to what was once Cobo Hall. I believe they're called the TCF Center now, but that's where they do the absentee count. And what we find is we have temp workers there doing their very best, but there's 2 workers per precinct. I've worked this before. Sometimes they can't even get an accurate count on a total vote, much less which party got the most votes. So what we need is people to be there who are competent and are also watching over to make sure that what they're seeing is legitimate and they're not seeing any attempt at election fraud. I believe it takes participation, and so we've been encouraging that through our office, and we believe we'll have a sufficient number of people to cover what needs to be covered.
Are you concerned that Democrats may try to steal the election in Detroit?
Well, there's always a concern of election fraud when you see something like what we saw with the so-called misprint of having the Libertarian vice presidential candidate on some ballots with the Republican nominee, President Trump. So that's of a concern. But we're also seeing signs that they realize that they're under the microscope as well. The election folks in Wayne County have also reached out to Michigan Republican Party and asked them for help. That's not something that we've seen in the past before. So we believe that this year presents an opportunity, but as I said, the way to guard against that is participation. And so if folks are concerned and they have the time and they can give that time, then I would encourage them to participate in the process and do their part to help ensure that election fraud doesn't take place.
In the people that you talk to when you're out campaigning, going door to door and meeting people and that sort of thing, what sort of response do you get regarding President Trump?
Well, in this district, it's a plus 32 historically. But that just means that the people who do vote, and they really don't make up the majority, unfortunately, but the people who do vote typically have leaned Democrat. And I really just blame that on just a lack of participation by Republicans over the years. And we're working very hard in this district since I became chair to change that. But it's going to take time, obviously.
So I give you a lot of credit for doing that. How can people find more out about your campaign?
Sure. They can go to www.dudeforcongress.com. It's DUDE, the number 4, Congress.com. We're also on social media, Facebook, Twitter. I'm also on Telegram. And so folks can find us out there, and we're looking for folks to help us out any way they can. And we believe that if we can put this army together of people that are out there looking for real solutions and not just talking points and rhetoric, then we're presenting something real to the community,
Mm-hmm.
and we believe that we can be successful this November.
Great. David Dudenhoefer, who's running against Rashida Tlaib in the 13th Congressional District in Michigan. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. For more of my work, go to Breitbart.com and find me on Twitter, Kyle Olson 4. Use the same handle for Parler, Kyle Olson 4, KYLEOLSON, and the number 4. This is The Kyle Olson Show.